What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're live, brand new Poker Live podcast. My name's Joey One, aka Chicago Joey, coming to you this week. We got super high roller bowl coverage. We're gonna be doing. We should be having my buddy Matt Berkey on the podcast on Wednesday, talking live at the bike, the high stakes cash game he played last weekend, and also super high roller bowl Thursday. My man Phil Galfon will be on. We'll be recapping the final day super high roller bowl, and then on Friday we should be having Dan Smith on, who's playing the super high roller bowl and also has been doing a big charity drive that he does every year, where he's raising millions of dollars for charity. And hopefully he wins the event. So that way it all comes full circle. But that's it, guys. Join me on the podcast today. A young gentleman who, if you guys followed my live stream, my voice is going out right now. We're going to have to deal with it. But if you guys follow my live stream at the Party Poker Millions event, we guys saw this guy was at the final table. He satellited in for $5 and he laddered his way up to win $1.3 million. What's he going to do with the money? We're certainly going to find out. We're going to find out more about his story. My friend Scarmak3r, a.k.a. Blaz Zedijav. I said that correct. Blaz Zedijav, right? Is that how we say the last name?
Yeah, almost. Zediao is actually the pronunciation, but overall, thanks for having me here, Joe.
No problem, Blaz. So you kind of came onto the scene here, like I said, during that event. So can you explain to the people out there how, because the tournament costs $5,300 buy-in for the Party Poker Millions event, you qualified for $5?
Yeah, that's correct. I just took a shot at the satellites and tried my luck, I guess, and it worked out.
So did it go? It was a $5, and then it went to a $50 to a $100, or how many steps was it to get to the $5,300?
It started with a $5 and then to up to $22 and $109. And that fell into $530, and that's the final, yeah. So that's 4 steps. Yeah, 4 satellites.
Was there a point, could you sell any action or anything like that, or was it just something where you pretty much had to play and that was the only option you had?
I mean, how do you mean? I mean, I never sold any action, or I don't know what you mean.
Okay, so normally for some tournaments, sometimes you might be able to sell action. Maybe your friend Jimmy might buy a little piece of you, or maybe someone might buy a piece or something of that nature for some of these tournaments.
Yeah, no, I've never done this. I mean, I prefer playing on my own bankroll. So, I mean, even for such a big tournament, I mean, I could do that, but I don't know. I've never done it before, so why now?
Well, you picked a pretty good time not to sell action, because I feel like most people that I know who would play that tournament, they'd probably sell a little bit of piece of themselves. And yeah, I don't know, they wouldn't have the full spoils of a full $1 million score. And especially for you, a couple days before the event, I saw you were playing a $1 tournament. So you played like a couple $1 tournaments. You played a $11 tournament or something like that, and then the next tournament you played was the $5,300 tournament.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, my regular schedule is like from $1 to up to like 30. But when I guess when I won this satellite, I mean, I didn't want to stop playing before the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I didn't want to take a day off, so I just kept playing my regular tournaments. So, I mean.
And then after you won the event, I saw you were playing $11. You have the best bankroll management of anybody I've ever seen in my life, because you were sticking to playing the $11 tournaments. I think like the highest one I saw was 30. I'm looking at your shark scope. I'm like, yo, this dude's crazy. He could, because you could take that money to high stakes cash, or you could play high stakes buy-in tournaments, but you were still playing the $11 tournaments, it seems like.
I mean, I wanted to play poker. I mean, I still want to play higher buy-ins, but at that point, I just didn't feel like I wasn't like I'm not ready yet. But how would I say? There were so much things going on in my head, especially after that day the tournament finished, that I just wasn't prepared like to play at all. But I wanted to play anyway, so I just registered the tournament I usually do and play that. Didn't turn out well, but yeah.
I mean, it's going to be hard for it to turn out well compared to a score like that. Especially, I think I read your biggest score before that was $6,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was a live tournament win. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the one? Was that the one you had on Instagram? Because I saw we were looking at your Instagram page during the event. We saw there was like a live tournament score from a few months back. Where was that the biggest score ever?
Yeah, that was my biggest score. Yeah, my online biggest score is, I guess, 2.2K. That's a win in a $10 knockout tournament. So it's a pretty significant jump, let's say.
Why don't you tell people a little bit about your backstory about kind of what you do right now with yourself in your life?
I'm a student. I study English at the University of Ljubljana. I play football part-time, semi-professionally for now. But the rest, I mean, I try to combine it all together, like school and football and, of course, poker. And I mean, it's pretty demanding to find time for all that. But I mean, so far it worked out.
Yeah, I was reading that you live with your girlfriend. You said you play the semi-professional football. You're aspiring. Have you been an aspiring person to trying to make it at poker, or was it something that you just said, "Well, I'm going to do recreationally"?
I know. I mean, I know it takes a lot of effort to go professional, right? But I never wanted to like put burden on me to the fact that if I say that I'm not successful if I don't go professional, to like progress as much as I could, as much as I can, and see where it takes me. I mean, never stop improving, I guess.
Are you? I was looking on Twitter, and it looks like you are a big Doug Polk fan. I saw you had some retweets from Doug Polk. Is that one of the main sources of poker content you watch to try to get better at poker?
Yeah, I watched some Doug Polk content, yeah, but also Jonathan Little. I watched the most content from him, all his webinars and training videos and so on and so forth. So yeah, Doug Polk. Okay, yeah, I wasn't really following him after he went into crypto or some like that.
So once he turned his back on poker, you turn your back on Doug Polk?
Not exactly, yeah, but you get the point, yeah.
Well, I know Jonathan Little's going to be happy about that because I've heard a lot of good things about Jonathan Little's content. I'm going to be honest out there. Big shout out to Jonathan Little. A lot of people told me that they watch his stuff and it really helps him improve. And I guess like when you study or when you try to get better, what's one of the biggest things you work at, or how do you go upon doing that? Oh, I think he's frozen. Blaz, are you there? We might have lost him to Slovenian internet, my friends. Hold on a second. We're trying to get him back. He's frozen. We might get some shout outs early in the chat. Who we got out there, guys? I see some people talking about Blaz. Blaz is nervous, guys. You got to understand, man. He's a 20-year-old kid from Slovenia. He's a little fucking nervous coming on podcast out here with all you hooligans and savages out here in the chat, man. Let's give him a second to come back. Who we got out here? Scott F out there. Trevor Fono. What's up, Trevor? What's happening, man? Joel D. Andrew Nicholas. Scott Jones. My role, Andrew. What's going on, guys? Noah Schwartz. What's happening, bro? Ask him if he's going to retire in Thailand. I will definitely ask him. Something tells me he will not retire and go to Thailand. Arthur Campos out there. What's up, Arthur? What's happening, buddy? Adam Pascal, Celo Bono, Vienna, Tung Huang, Nikki O'Donnell. What's going on, guys? Welcome here. We're gonna trying to get Blaz back in here right now. The stream froze for him. Let me send him a little message out here. But yeah, guys, we got a pretty fun week of content coming up here. Tomorrow, I'm gonna try to get a video done to I'm messaging him right now. Is back. Getting him back in here. Hold on a second, guys. Blaz, you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. You froze up there, disconnected. What's up with the internet out there in Slovenia, Blaz? What's happening with this internet?
Internet here never good, yeah. Always is bugging out.
No, I was kind of saying, like, when it comes to study, what's like the main way somebody like yourself, who's a young kid, who's still learning the game, what's the main way that you like? How do you approach the idea of studying? Is it just you watch a bunch of content and then something clicks, or is there something specific that you try to work at?
I picked up on Jonathan Little's, I think it was his, correct me if I'm wrong, but a routine that, a weekly study routine. And it makes you pick a topic. For example, let's say pre-flop ranges or calling ranges, or I don't know, 3-betting, 4-betting, or so on. And you study that topic for 1 week. And this, if you study it for 1 week, you don't really get overwhelmed because it's some. But then you change it. I mean, I've tried to stick up with it, but I didn't really manage it so well. I did some weeks of studying, and then I had a few weeks of break, and then started doing this thing. So, I mean, yeah, it's mostly videos. Picture froze.
Yeah, Blaz does not have the G2 internet out there in Slovenia, but I can't really fault Slovenia. I'm sure the internet out there isn't very is it the third worst internet in the country? Is that what it is? No, that can't be true.
Like that.
Are you still there, Blaz?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Just making sure. It's just a little frozen. It's okay. But yeah, you were saying that he picks a topic and then you study it for 1 week and then you move on to a next topic the next week, or is that how it works?
Yeah, something like that. If you manage to stick to the schedule.
What did your family and your girlfriend say about you winning this amount of money?
I mean, my girlfriend was with me here all the time, and yeah, she was very proud and all. She was very supportive, and also my parents. I woke them up. I phoned them in the middle of the night. At first they couldn't believe it, but yeah, they were very, very proud, very happy for me. I mean, they always supported me, and to see that I've actually managed to do something, it makes them proud. Yeah.
What's do you have any plans for something to do with the money, whether it's something for yourself or something for your parents or anything like that?
Definitely buying an apartment, I guess, is the first thing that comes to mind. But for the rest, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see about that.
So it sounds like you're pretty it sounds like you're pretty committed to just sort of saving up the money and then deciding what you might do with it at some point in time in the future.
I mean, it's a pretty big amount for someone who, I mean, I would be really happy if I min cashed the tournament, right? I mean, I was really happy for playing it, and then I was really, really happy for just min cashing it, and then it just went from there on. But so, yeah, I could say I'm a bit of on a conservative side. So yeah, I'm not trying to just put all into stocks or anything. I'll take a few days and think about it, what I want to do with it, and then we'll see.
Yeah, some of the chat says upgrade the internet. That might be. Is that in the store for you? You're gonna upgrade the internet out there in Slovenia?
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Get yourself some high speed out there. People are saying it's not a third world country. Okay, I got it. I was making a fucking joke. I understand. You guys are saying it was a third world country. What's Slovenia like, Blaz? What's it like out there? Because a lot of us out there are from different places around the world, but we've never been there. How would you describe just the country in general?
The country, very small and very beautiful. The nature is, I mean, you have everything from Alps to sea to, I don't know, to like lowlands or something like that. So it's a very small country, but it has great diversity. So yeah, I mean, life here is pretty enjoyable, I would say.
I guess for you as a kid, do you grow up and you think that to be successful, is it about making a lot of money, or what's the definition of what success is out there to people growing up like yourself that are about your age in Slovenia?
Ooh, I would say to be successful, I guess it means that you make lives, those that are close to you, better, and you make life for yourself better and for those around you. So, yeah, that,
Is
that's,
there
I
is there
guess,
a big
that'd be.
obsession? Is there like a big obsession there on materialistic things or buying fancy houses or fancy cars
No,
or
no,
no?
no, no, absolutely not. I mean, I come from a village, a small village where all this doesn't really matter. Like just the relationships between people do, and yeah,
Hmm.
I guess fancy cars and big houses aren't really an option.
My chat says, are you going to go to Thailand? Do you plan on taking any trips anywhere or anything like that?
Yeah, see some beautiful towns, cities, some landscapes.
See
I
some.
always wanted to go to London though, so this one might be my first stop.
Have you ever left the country at all?
Yeah, I've been I've been mostly to neighbor countries, but yeah, so I'm trying to extend my travel routes.
I know that's pretty. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was 21, Blaz, and I just randomly had $1 million score. I'm going to be honest with you, buddy. It would have been pretty bad. I would have been a little out of line with my life, with my habits, with the people I was spending time with. Are you that's something that worries you at all, that maybe you might start traveling or spending money and then start to think, okay, this is pretty fun, and then sort of your entire lifestyle changes and maybe you go down that sort of route?
Oh, I don't really think so. Mm, I mean, I come from a family, we're pretty conservative, I guess. I mean, I guess if you have like 100,000, right, you won't spend it all. You'll keep like 20K just for emergency, right? So whatever, if I manage to like bomb it all away from some stupid high roller tournaments or whatever, I don't know, cars, houses, I would still leave myself sort of with some money to where I can live normally like I do now. So,
Well, that makes
I
sense.
guess.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really great perspective on it that I don't know, we've seen some tournament winners in the past or people that have big scores, they start playing high stakes cash games and then they're battling the best players at 100 200 on Poker Stars or something like that, and they lose all their score in one
Yeah.
session sometimes. Do you play any cash games too, or is that something that you don't play yet?
I mean, I've tried playing cash games, but it wasn't my cup of tea, I guess.
Have you ever tried playing
Um,
little bit of lag
I
there?
mean, tournaments excite me more, so I continue playing tournaments.
There's a little bit of lag there. I think I made out what you said. Did you say you've ever played Pot Limit Omaha, or you don't play Pot Limit Omaha at all?
I've tried it. I've tried Pot Limit Omaha High Low. I prefer that one.
What about Pot Limit Omaha High, the great game we call it?
I wouldn't call it a great game. I mean, it's I prefer sticking to no limit hold'em, I guess.
Wow, you wouldn't call it a great game, huh? Wow. Blaz, let's talk about one of the hands that you played during the tournament. So there was a final table bubble, and you played I know, Bang. I agree, guys in the chat. I agree. He does. Calm down, guys. Some people are agreeing with you. Some people are disagreeing with you. They're telling you to calm down. I agree. Calm down. Pot Limit is actually a great game. That's true. But no, during the tournament, you played an interesting hand with Ace King versus Ace 10. Do you remember this hand?
Very vividly.
Okay, so well, I'll kind of explain the hand to people out there. There was 9 people left, and I think you had actually. I have it on my Instagram page. I posted it last night as a preview for here. So basically, you made a pretty crazy bluff, dude, with about 9 people left in the tournament. So let me kind of go over the hand here. So you had Ace King of Hearts, and it was 4-handed. Ace 10 opens in the cutoff. You're on the button with Ace King of Hearts. You just call Wheat for Sheep's open. You have about 400 some thousand to start the hand. So you have about 40 big blinds, I believe it was. And flop comes down queen 10-7, 2 clubs. So you have ace king of hearts, and he has ace 10 offsuit. He checks. He does not see bet. You decide to bet, and he calls. So turns the queen of spades. So it goes queen, queen, 10-7. He checks again. You check back. River's an offsuit 3. So it's queen, queen, 10-7, 3. Both flush draws miss. He bets the river for value. He has ace 10, second pair, best kicker. You have ace king. You decide to raise him pretty small. I think he makes like 50 million. You make it about 133 million or something like that. So what's kind of the thinking for behind raising the river in that situation?
I mean, first of all, I think we all agree the best play would be just flop. So I guess that's out of the way. But why I 3-bet the river there? I'm thinking more in the sense that I don't really have bluffs there, from the way I see it at least. I was the tightest guy at the table, and my opponent knew that. I checked back the queen on the turn because I guess I'm betting a lot of queens on the flop, and maybe sets from sevens and tens that want to check back the turn and induce bluffs on the river, I guess. And I mean, I'm not getting any value from betting the turn if I bet. I mean, that's from my point of view. And I guess when I 3-bet the river, I thought, I mean, I could never have bluffs there, so that's why I bet. And unfortunately, it didn't, as you can see, but yeah.
Yeah, the guy in your hand, Wheat for Sheep, he tanked down for about, I think he used uh-oh, the lag's coming back. It's like an alien. It's like an alien out there, Blaz, the lag alien. But no, he tanked for a long time before he finally called off with his hand. So it was I don't know. I thought you had a very strong hand too. I didn't see. I mean, we're on the final table here. There's 9 players left. 8 people make the final table. I think there was like a $150,000 pay jump to the next place or some shit like that. So I didn't see that coming in terms of a bluff there on the river. It's just it's a pretty wild spot.
I mean, yeah, for one point I was really, I mean, I could just shoved it all in, and maybe he would have folded ace 10 probably. But on one point I was trying to, I mean, if it goes wrong, trying to obtain some chips as well. But on the other, I played a lot of hands with Wheat for Sheep. We were together when the bubble burst, for example, and like I said, I mean, I think he would never put me on a bluff there, and that's exactly why I did it. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, and then after that, you were left with about, it was like 11 big blinds, and then you didn't really play many hands at the final table. You shoved all in. I think you wrote re-steal a few times, but you basically played one big all in where I think you had 9s, and then the guy Pim DeGode, who won he chopped the tournament, he had ace king or something like that, and you won a flip. So during this final table, what's sort of your thinking while you're there? Are you just trying to play really tight and ladder up, or are you just waiting for hands, or what's kind of the approach there?
I was kind of lucky that I actually got hands. Like first I got aces, like probably the first hand, and then 10s, like 2 hands after that. But my thought process was, of course, to ladder up as much as possible, but also to keep that stack of at least like 10 blinds of around somewhere that I actually have some fold equity when I do shove. So I mean, push or fold is like the easiest game to play, I guess. So, I mean, try to maximize everything, I guess. I don't know.
What do you remember? Was there like a very weak hand that you shoved all in with, and you were thinking to yourself, if I bust this tournament with this hand, I'm gonna want to punch myself in the face? Or was there any moment like that?
I knew that for Mother Russia was raising like every hand almost, and once I shoved King Jack offsuit, and once there were deuces, and yeah, I was just like I stand up and I was praying for him not to call, but yeah, King Jack off and deuces were the worst two I shoved with.
So like during this tournament, are you sitting down? You said your girlfriend was there. Are you? I'd be jumping up. I would be so like I wouldn't believe what's happening at that point in time. So what's kind of like? Were you just chilling like this? Were you quiet? Were you? What was kind of the mood there for you?
Swing around like, I mean, throughout the whole tournament, like from day one on, like through day one, I was jumping around, and I was so happy I made day two. And then for day two, I was so nervous of trying to get in the money, and so I was, for every time I was all in, I actually stood up and was like running around the hallway. And yeah, for day three, obviously I was jumping even more. But in the end, when there was like 5 players left and we let her up, me and my girlfriend just like sat here and just, we were just so stunned. We looked at each other, we couldn't believe it, and yeah, from then on, like fifth, fourth, and then eventually third. Yeah, we were just looking at each other. So.
Fuka says, ask him, ask him what the first thing he did after winning. How long did he stare at his balance for?
I definitely took a look. Yeah, I have that hidden balance, you know, and when you get your mouse over, you see your balance, and I was like putting my mouse over, see the balance, and like down and on, and yeah, times to see through.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do, man. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, when I've had a lot of money online, what I like to do is I go buy into a small stakes limit table, and I'll buy in my whole roll, and then I'll just play a few hands with however much money on $200 at the table or something like that. So if I had $1 million on my account, I would probably buy into a 1 cent, 2 cent limit with $1 million. I believe I would do that.
Now you gave me an idea how to spend it, right?
Well, have you cashed it out yet? Are you keeping it on there in case you want to gamble, or what's kind of the thought process there?
I'm slowly cashing it out, yeah. So I'm not trying to buy into big tournaments or anything just yet. So
Are we going to see you in Vegas next summer? World Series of Poker 2019, I believe we're in.
that was always my dream. So yeah, I guess if I had to take shots at poker, I guess Vegas would be it. The World Series of Poker. I always wanted to play the main event. I guess why not? Like, I can try.
Yeah, I think it's very fun out here. The whole community's out here. There are a million different tournaments out here as well, too. If you want to play a $30 tournament, you can play that. And if you want to play a $10,000 World Series Poker tournament, you can play that. So a lot of it's pretty fun time to be out here for sure during that time of year.
Yeah, sounds exciting. Might give it a might give it a go. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean you have the freedom to kind of do it. And you mentioned your girlfriend was watching there with you. Does she play poker too, or is she just sort of your biggest fan and cheer you on?
She not really into. I learned her a few. We played a $1 tournament together and so on, and she really got the grasp of it. Like, she's a natural actually, but she doesn't really want to play that much. So yeah.
So even after watching you play, she just still doesn't want to play?
No, I mean, she rather just watches and cheers me, and she's there for me like all the time. So yeah.
People in the chat are saying, "Is it a robot?" No, guys, it's just lag. It happens. You know, he's coming from his usual apartment in Slovenia. 21-year-old man out there trying to find his way in the world. He hasn't got the new apartment quite yet. He hasn't got the new internet quite yet. So it happens, man. You know, it's just kind of exciting to hear. Do you feel like do you feel like the poker dream's still alive, and that anyone out there, if you can do this, anyone out there could potentially do it too? He froze. Did you hear that last question, Blaz?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Do you feel like the poker dream, this is kind of what the poker dream is, and that winning a big tournament, having a big score, and then being able to kind of do what you want to do?
Yeah, it's a part of it, I guess. But I think the poker dream is, it's more like getting insanely good and then be a profitable player in the long run, and then use that to travel the world, like playing different tournaments, meet new people, I guess, and so on.
So is that still a goal for you now to keep working hard at your game, or do you think that you might work a little bit harder, less harder rather, because you already have the big score?
No, it definitely makes me work harder because now I see it's possible, right? I mean, I know I'm not on that level quite yet, but why not? I mean, try and do my weekly routine, and we'll see when it goes.
What's the topic for this week? What are you working at, getting better at this week?
I'm actually working on tilt.
Tilt.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic, but yeah, I'm working on it.
What happens when you go on, like what does that mean? So how do you tilt a lot when you play, or what?
I mean, I don't tilt as much as I usually did, but I mean, I still have episodes, right? When you like a total fish, I guess, sucks out on you on the river or something like that, and you just go, I wouldn't say crazy or anything, but else, but it upsets you really, and kind of threatens your other tournament that you're playing at that time. So yeah, I mean, yeah, trying to improve that.
Have you been going on tilt since you won the tournament and you were playing the smaller tournaments?
No, that didn't happen.
No, I wouldn't be on tilt for at least a month, I think. If I don't know. I couldn't play a $20 tournament and go on tilt. If I had that, I just couldn't do it. I maybe, I don't know, maybe I would go on tilt. I'm not sure. No, I'd probably.
I mean, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different now because, you know, you play a $20 tournament and you have all this money, like, you know, you can lose it and it doesn't make a difference in your bankroll. But when you had like $200, if you played a $20 tournament, I mean, that's not good in a sense of bankroll management, of course. But if you lost that $20, it made there was a significant amount of bankroll, you know. Right. So I mean, I still look at it from this perspective.
What was your bankroll at before that other tournament, before you had the big score?
Before this one, it was something like 2.5.
2.5K?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. I mean, come on, that's insane. That's just crazy. I mean, I don't even know what I was fucking. That's crazy. 2.5. I remember when I had the 2.5K roll. I thought I was the richest person ever, dude. I thought I was 22. I had 2.5. I thought I had the most money of anyone in my entire world, having $2,500.
I mean, it's not like I complained with 2,500, but yeah.
Oh my god, that's just so crazy, man. That is, I don't know, man. Nick's in the chat says he's there right now. Joe, listen, Nick, it's possible, buddy. It's possible, Nick. Play the next play. I mean, there's so many tournaments out there. I don't know. It seems like it's almost easier than ever in poker these days to have a big score, but we rarely hear about somebody who gets in for $5 because it's just the to get to the final table in the Party Poker Millions event, you had to get past so many players, and so many good players, I believe, re-entered that tournament too. So it's just the odds of somebody with your story kind of getting through in that sense. It's just, it seems like it's really difficult to actually make that happen.
I guess I was pretty fortunate throughout the tournament. I usually label people on how they play or how, I guess, their shower scope graph looks like. And I always had a big losing player on my right. That was like for the day one, that was, I mean, I felt really good playing, even though I had like five top players on my table. But I mean, I guess little by little, I guess it contributes to the whole picture.
Yeah, at the final table, you mentioned from Mother Russia, his name's Pim DeGode. He had all the chips, and I think he had a billion. He was chip leader by like 5 times. I think he had everyone else covered at some point in time. There was like 5 or 6 players left. He had a billion, or maybe even more than I can't remember how many chips. He had so many goddamn chips, and he was basically raising every single hand. So there'd be sometimes, I think a couple times where you went all in and restole, and I'm like, I don't think he's gonna fold, but he folded pretty much every single time except the time he had ace king and you had the 9s, and then that was the big pan you guys played. But it seemed like the final table for you went pretty smooth because everyone else was short stacks and they all went out pretty goddamn quickly, and you instantly made, I don't know, like $1 million in very short period of time. It went from 6 to 3 almost instantly.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was taking so long for me personally. Playing it felt like it's taking ages. So I mean, what I'm trying to say, the time didn't run by me, or just everything felt so slow. Like I was barely waiting for someone to bust, or yeah. I mean, Pim de Go, he was shoving when he had like 1.8 billion. He was shoving every hand, and I remember having ace king, and I was like, what do I do now? There were like 7 players remaining. We all had like 10 blinds, and I had to fold. But like something I would never do in a regular tournament for what I played.
So you had ace king with 7 players left, and the chip leader shoved all in. You folded the hand pre-flop.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, for all as I know, he could have like 7-8 and hit at his 8, and I'll be out on 7th. But
what do you guys think? What do you guys think in the chat about that fold out there? You guys remember the pocket 10s hand where I said the guy should fold 10s when he raised under the gun and button went all in, and then everyone in the chat berated me until we ran the math, and it turns out we were correct about folding pocket 10s. What do you guys think about ace king? I mean, I guess for ICM, I can't say I'm an ICM expert, but I guess it makes sense to kind of wait to have your fold equity and then just take that spot instead of calling it all off with ace king.
I guess it's a lot easier to push than to call, right?
Right.
So,
my God, I don't know what
it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do in that spot. Like, I mean, the pay jump's 150,000. I don't know. I mean, listen, what the fuck? I think I got a full ace king. I don't know, man. Ay. That's just $700,000 ladder. You got to fold, maybe. That's true. Ay. So what's kind of your plan here coming up here? At Christmas time? Is that I'm assuming they celebrate Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So you got Christmas coming up. Are you buying your parents something nice? Are you buying your girlfriend who was there to support you during the tournament something nice? What's
we'll definitely figure something out, but rather than buying something, I guess we'll go skiing or something together. So yeah.
Skiing? That sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. It's my parents like to ski. Her parents like to ski, so why not take them all to a ski resort and for a week or something?
Are you kind of worried about, having this sort of influx of cash in a small country? Is that something you worry about in terms of, maybe dealing with some pressure from people or friends or family or anything like that?
I don't feel any pressure from friends and family. It's not like I'm obliged, like, to give them money, but they all kind of, no one expects anything from you. So from that sense, so I guess it's up to me how I want to distribute that. But yeah, no real pressure now.
That's good, man. Yeah, it sounds different than America for sure. I think when you start making money here, you got friends and family and people that you kind of know, people that you don't know. They certainly get in touch with you very often, and you got to tell them no, unless you want to say yes. Which, I mean, maybe I would say yes. I don't know, but that was something I dealt with when I first started making money. Was that they're not watching, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, a lot of my family would say, "Hey, can you borrow money? Can you give me money?" And they would just expect me to say yes. oftentimes because I had much more money than they did. And, you know, that was always tough to deal with for me because at the same time I wanted to say yes, but then it's like, well, at what point do you stop giving away money? And you know, I don't know. Trying to figure that whole thing out was something new for me when I was younger.
Yeah, that's, I guess it's a pretty thin line. I guess you can cross there. So when to stop, or when to give someone some amount, and when to stop giving them. I mean, if people value for what you are, and no matter your income, I guess you can borrow them as much as you like. But if they actually value your money, then I mean, why borrow them money in the first place?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it is a thin line. I agree with that. Kind of figuring out, you know, when do you stop or do you keep going? I don't know. It's I've always just kind of said no to things like that in the past, and I think it's probably hurt some relationships, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like I put in a lot of work for the money, so kind of is what it is with the situation. With football, are you going to keep pursuing a professional football career? You mentioned you play semi-pro right now. Is that something that you intend to keep pursuing?
it's actually a pretty complex situation. I played up until like a month ago or so. I played semi-professionally, but now I haven't had a training session at my club for like a month. It's for the reasons that I have to drive through the country to. I mean, I study at Ljubljana, and my football club is Krško. That's 1 hour away to drive, and then it takes like a lot of time. Like 1 hour drive to put in 5 hours of training, and then an hour drive back, and it sucks out the energy, I guess. And
For sure.
it's really, yeah.
So you're not sure if you're gonna. It sounds like you're leaning towards maybe not being as active with it because it's just so far away.
Maybe if I found a club like that's like in Ljubljana or that's near me, then possibly could give it a go. But I mean, I don't really feel the same enthusiasm as I did when I was younger. So I don't know. I'll have to decide on that. Yeah, I haven't really made a solid choice, let's say.
Adam Mikalikovic says, buy that fucking club. Would you buy the club? Was that a consideration?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. What about just buying it? What is that? Or is this an option? Can we maybe buy the club? What do you think?
At least I'll get the place in the first 11 so I could play regularly. So yeah, why not?
If you own the club, they gotta play you. You're the owner of the team.
I mean, they have to, right?
I mean, seriously, how much can the club cost? What do you think the club would cost out there?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I can't make that assumptions. I don't know.
I think you can make your own club or something like that. You could buy a place. Someone said you could buy a club or you can rent a place near where the club is. So that way, if you drive out there, you can just stay at that place there.
Yeah, but at the same time, I want to stay here where I am now to like keep studying, right? And finish my studies for that sake.
Yeah. I see the issue. I definitely see the problem with this. That's true. 100 people say it costs 100 grand. I don't know. I mean, I've never looked into buying a Slovenian. Do we call it soccer or football, Blas? What do we call it?
It's football.
Okay.
Definitely football.
Definitely football. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how much it costs to buy a Slovenian football team, guys, but I don't actually know. Maybe 100K, 300K. I don't really know. Who knows? What are you studying? People in the chat want to know what you're studying.
English, actually. Yeah. English language.
You're studying the English language.
Yeah.
Well, does that get you like a teacher at some point in time, or what do you want to be? What is it?
You have two directions. You can be either a teacher or a translator.
So would you rather be a teacher or a translator?
Leaning more onto being to get the degree for a translator. Yeah.
Interesting. So that means you would stay in your country and just kind of work there with like kids or with like who would you want to work with?
Bloody hell, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Why not? Like, I'll have to see about that.
Are you not getting a job, Les? Are we not planning to get a job anymore? What's going on here, buddy? No job? Done? That's it?
I mean, I never really had a real job before, so it might be a bit tough for me to get used to it.
So, Blaz, we're here. You're looking for a job. We're gonna pay you $30,000 this year. So for you to make the 1.3 million, you're gonna have to work about, oh God, how many years is that? Holy fuck, that's like 40 or 50 years. You're gonna have to work. You got to work 40 years, Blaz, to be able to make that same amount of money in a damn tournament playing poker when you were 21 years old. I mean,
but in the other hand, it's like it's a steady income, right? I mean, you can live with that.
That's true.
But yeah, but also you can make a steady income if you get really good at poker. So why not give it a try, right?
That's true. Are you planning to maybe get some coaching or anything like that and kind of spend the money that way?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's I've been planning on getting some coaching before the score, and now definitely, yeah.
Is there somebody specific that you want to get some coaching from?
No, not really, not really. So if you have anyone, guys, up for suggestions.
What do you guys think in the chat? Who do you think Blaz should get some coaching from out there? He's got he can afford a nice hourly. I mean, I think most people out there. I honestly, I don't know who the tournament guys' coaches are right now. I think maybe I know Ben CB. He's got the coaching thing. They're always out there doing the stuff like that, right? And then I don't think Doug, guys, people are saying Doug doesn't really do much. Doug's doing no coaching right now and he doesn't play tournaments. So I don't think Doug's going to be the one to do the coaching. People say Fedor Holst, the young prince. We were just out last weekend, Blaz. Would that be someone you want to get some coaching by potentially?
I definitely would, but like at the same time, the difference in level is just so high that I don't know how much that would actually help me. I mean, Fedor is up like the top, and also Ben CB also like the top players in the world, but the difference in level with our level is just so enormous that I would probably consider someone that's closer to my level, and then maybe consider, yeah, but Fedor is like the best, I guess.
Yeah, Fedor. We went out last weekend, guys. If you guys follow my Instagram story, you saw we had a lot of line weekend. The young Prince Fedor was there, and the young Prince is definitely getting after it for sure. He's got a secret out of line gene in him that most people don't think he has, and he's very, very fun. And he's enjoying his retired life. We should be doing a podcast pretty soon here. Either, I think probably when he goes back to Vienna. I'm not really sure exactly when we might be able to do that, but yeah, kind of exciting, man. What's so I guess you said you have Christmas coming up. Maybe take take the family somewhere. What about maybe playing this PCA 25K event, Blaz, with all the recreational players are satelliting in from all over the world, 300 packages down in the Bahamas, the weather, the beach, the sand. What do you think?
Sounds great, but it's not really an option. So yeah, would love to play it one day. Why not? But yeah, not right now.
Not right now. So the next travel, do you have any poker travels planned, or is it just get back to school, just get after it?
Maybe the WSOP, like I said, maybe that's my first big poker travel. I mean, if there will be events in Europe, I might consider playing them, but yeah, the WSOP was really my dream, so probably that.
Well, if the time ever comes around and you decide to do that, you can always hit me up for any questions. I live here in Vegas. I am a Vegas professional at this point in time. So anyone out there has questions about World Series poker, always feel free, message me. If you want to know where to stay, if you got any questions about on the strip, off the strip, long-term places, where to play, what a plan should be for yourself. Anyone out there watching, send me a message on Instagram or on Twitter. Blaz, more than welcome to always hit me up if you have some questions about anything like that too. Because I know when I was a kid and I came out here, I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I stayed at Vidara. It was so much money, and I probably shouldn't have done that in retrospect. And now I realize that, hey, there's some better options and more effective options that maybe I can do instead of living in a damn hotel for a month and a half like I usually do. So
yeah. I'll definitely hit you up if I decide to go to Vegas.
Yeah, Michael Townsend, Poppy, that WSOP knowledge sounds like it should be in your next video. It's actually not a bad idea to make a video on the World Series poker and how to approach and write that down. Give me some questions, guys. We'll take a couple questions from the chat here, guys. Let's see what they have. Let's kind of keep him in line, guys. Blad's a nice kid. He's got his parents probably. Are your parents going to watch this, do you think?
I actually sent them the link, so they might be watching now.
Okay, good. We will not ask you some of these questions that the chat wants me to ask you out of respect for your parents who there's no right answer. Okay. I'm not asking them that question, guys. All right. Calm down. Let's see. Nope. How did you get into poker? Landon says, my guy, Landon. What is, like you started playing poker when you were 18 on Poker Stars. Is that how you started?
Yeah. I mean, I started playing on Facebook, like the Zynga poker. But yeah, then when I was 18, I just registered into Poker Stars and grinded out all the free rolls. There were like free rolls on 40 minutes. And I played all of them, like Stud, Raz, Omaha, I don't know, everything that came. So yeah, started there.
So you were playing free rolls 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
That's pretty sick. That's pretty sick for sure. Charlemagne says, Poppy, tell him that he looks like Srečko Katanic, a great Slovenian football player from the past. Have you heard this before?
Srečko Katanic, yeah, I heard this before. I mean, not that I look like him, but yeah. I don't know where he got the reference to that.
Hush Hush, what was his biggest score before this? So he said his biggest score online was, you said it was 2.5K online and 6K live?
Yeah, 2.2 online and around 6K live.
I'm never going to be able to get over this. It's just crazy here. Mookie says, are you going to lock away or invest any of the money, much of the money?
Oh, definitely not investing much of the money. Well, probably get some trust funds, I guess, and to savings and so on. I have to see about that. I have to talk to my parents about it, talk to people who actually work in financial and real estate.
Actual adult. You got to ask actual adults who have a little bit of experience what you should do. I feel that, man. I like that. That's smart. I would not ask anyone, dude. The difference is, man, I don't know. The differences between me and you at 21 are it's crazy. I don't know. I never dreamed about having more than $2,000 when I was a kid growing up. So it's the idea of just having a bunch of money was something I never even thought would be possible for me in my entire life. So it's just
perhaps I thought it was possible, but not really likely. But yeah.
Let me see some more questions here. How'd you get the name Scarmak3r? My buddy Landon wants to know.
Actually, I stole it. Not consciously. I stole it unconsciously, I would say like that. Scarmak3r is someone's username from Slovakia, actually, and he's also a pretty known face in the poker community there. And when I joined Tiltbook, that was when I was 18, right? That's 3 years ago. I was still looking for my name on PokerStars, and somehow I got, I don't know. One day when I made the account, I was just looking for a name, and then I put Scarmak3r in, and no one stuck with that, I guess.
Well, this makes so much damn sense because during the stream, people kept saying, "Is this Scarmak3r from Tiltbook? He's not from Slovenia. He's from Slovakia." And then I said, what's the difference between the countries? They kept saying, what's the difference? Maybe it's the same kid. It says Slovenia here. Maybe he's from Slovakia. And they said it was a big argument in the chat I had for about 5 minutes about this conversation. So you took the name Scarmak3r from a guy from Slovakia and used it on PokerStar or used it on Party Poker, and that's your name on there because you were inspired by his name.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah.
Damn. So did you get the chance to watch any of the stream at all?
Yeah, I watched the stream back. It was really fun. Yeah, I read all the comments, and yeah, thank you all guys for support. I had a few big laughs there, and yeah, it was really fun. Like watching people cheering for you. It's a really good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very hyped up. I that was one of the most excited I've ever been during a poker rail stream. We do a lot of those rails for high stakes cash games and some of the big tournaments in past years. That was definitely, I was just so hyped because not only had you, but we had my buddy Gangbang Bob in the mix. And we know with a name like Gangbang Bob, that's just a great name to keep saying. So I was super excited. You guys were my two picks to win. Unfortunately, Mr. Gangbang, he went out. He was a psychotic person who played every hand, so he went out a little bit closer to the final table bubble. But what you think about playing with the Gangbang Bob?
I definitely felt he was like one of the most aggressive ones at
For
the
sure.
table. Like I was lucky enough when I think he shoved queen 10 off into my big blind. I call off with ace jack suited for like 12 blinds or so. I was lucky to survive that, and yeah, I mean, he was one of the most aggressive and played the most. So I think he got unlucky. Can't really remember what it was, but yeah.
I think he had jacks to queens or something like that. I think he had, yeah, I think he was in the button with jacks and then cutoff shoved. And I think cutoff had queens, and then that was the way that he either got over or lost a lot of his chips. Yeah, he Gangbang and his friends, I posted on my Instagram, guys. They sent me a photo from the nightclub, and Gangbang looks exactly like you'd expect a Gangbang Bob to look like. He looks as young as Blaz right here. He's like I think he's a German kid, and he's one of the youngest looking kid. I don't know if he's 21. I'm gonna be honest. There's a chance this kid might have been like 18 years old. So he was. They were celebrating though. They were watching the stream as well too. So it looks like they were having a pretty good time. The young kids were having fun, man. Shout out to Gangbang Bob. Let me find a couple more questions here in the chat. Will you buy Slovakia?
No, but I might buy Slovenia.
What, dude? What's the average amount of money people in Slovenia make? Like, what's the average average salary? Maybe an adult or someone like that would be making a year.
An average salary is close to 1K, I guess.
Excuse me?
Around 900 euros a month.
What?
I think that's the average.
Holy shit. Wow.
I mean,
900 euros a month?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, wow. What's the cost of living out there? What is that like?
I guess, assuming by your reaction, it must be a lot cheaper, right? than in the US.
Oh my God. Wait, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to see what the average amount of income here, when I think of like what the average person might make, 30 to 40K, which is going to be what, a few $1,000s a month, over $2,000 a month for the most part.
That sounds like a lot in our country. Yeah. That's like 2K. It's wow, per month.
Wow.
It would be quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah, Dimitri, I don't know how to say these fucking names, man. Demetrius in the chat says, I'm living in Latvia. Here it's 700 euro month average.
Yeah.
Wow. How easy is it to move to this place? Sick Handles want to know. Is it possible for expats or Europeans or Americans or other countries to move to Slovenia?
Oh, I wouldn't really know, but I don't think there've been like you'd have many problems with it. As long as, I don't know, you get a job here or I don't know. Prove it you're not like an immigrant or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's always cool to hear about how other countries kind of work. And someone said in Vietnam it's $40. Tung Hong says in Vietnam it's $40 US a month. That's what the average they make in Vietnam. $40. Is that true? Mark Hines says, what was the most important hand in the $50 tournament on Party Poker? What was the most important hand that you played?
I had two really big hands that happened like when we cashed, when we were in the money, when we came in the money. Like the first hand after that, I had 13 big blinds and I got queens, right? And a guy raised, I shoved over him. He called me with ace jack. I survived that, so double up. And like two hands after that, the same guy raised, I got ace king. I threw bet him. He shoved all in for like his remaining 20 blinds. I called, he had jacks. I had an ace. So that really put me up somewhere around 50 blinds.
Wow. Okay.
From 13 to 15, like three hands, right when we hit the money. So yeah, that was, I think that was the most important one. Allowed me to play more after that.
Yeah, because then at that point in time, you can just kind of keep folding, and you don't really feel any pressure to have to make a move or play a hand or anything like that, because the blind structure wasn't too fast, but it was still a great tournament, 3-day event. I mean, you're going to have a lot of play. So if you have 50 big blinds, you can just kind of chill and really pick your spots pretty well, it seems like.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the structure. 24-minute blinds. I mean, I'm usually more on the nitty side, so yeah, it benefits me, I guess.
You're on the nitty side? I can tell. Yeah. I can tell. I could see that. That's a good thing. Trust me. I would rather be on the nitty side too. I'm not a nit, but I would rather be on the nittier side too, because I mean, it's better to be on the nitty side than crazy side, especially if you're still learning how to become a great poker player. Why would you want to be on the extremely loose aggressive side? You're going to be putting yourself in position to potentially make a lot of mistakes. So it makes sense to play tighter when you're still trying to get better at the game.
Yeah, definitely. And try not to get into situations you don't want to be in, right?
Yeah. Couple questions in the chat, guys. We actually answered most of these. So VIP Grinder said, has he ever been to Vegas? He said no, but he might be coming to the World Series this summer. It's definitely a dream to go to Vegas. Joey wants to get out of line with him. I don't know if Blast can handle a little out of line adventure in Vegas with me, guys. I mean, he'd have a very fun time. It would be a very fun time, Blast. I'll take you out one night if you're here, and I'll take you around with some of my friends. It would be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Why not?
My buddy Andreas says, is he going to try to play more high stakes? Yeah, we kind of touched on that. It seems like you're leaning towards no to not play high stakes, but is that something that you're going to be open to if you keep working at your game and you keep making improvements?
I mean, I'm definitely open to playing higher stakes. It's just that I feel I'm not quite ready to play there yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm pretty comfortable playing tournaments up to like $100 online, and I don't know, up to 500 live. I'm pretty comfortable playing that. So, I mean, for now.
We'll see. We have to revisit this in like 3 months. We're going to go back, look at the Shark Scope. You're going to be firing away at $1,000 tournament. I actually don't know how big the tournaments are in Party Poker. So are there $1,000 tournaments on the site?
I think, yeah, there's some higher rollers, but I think they're mostly $500 ones. I mean, I didn't really check.
Don't check. Don't
really check.
Don't tell me the answer, Buzz. I don't want to know the answer. Don't tell me. I don't want to know what it is. I don't want you to find out what it is. It's probably for the best here. DW Corporate. He speaks pretty good English. When and where did he learn? Well, technically he's learning English in school right now to be a translator and or teacher. So I assume his English is gonna be pretty good. But when did you start learning English out there?
I guess I learned the majority of it through video games and TV, but we'll start learning it in 4th grade of grammar school. That's when like I'm about 10 years old. So yeah, from then on, every year, classes.
Do people speak, or so when you go out in your day-to-day life, are people speaking English at all? Or is it when do you actually get to use the English that you guys start learning in 4th grade?
I mean, we speak Slovenian here, but I guess at the university, you have a lot of foreign students. And I mean, the only way to talk to them is in English, right? But otherwise, no. I mean, I get to use it here on the podcast, but that doesn't happen.
doesn't happen very often. Yeah, your English is,
Yeah.
is I think it's pretty good. I mean, it makes sense you're studying English, but yeah, I'm surprised that it's you seem like you can express yourself in kind of however you want for the most part. Whereas I know a lot of people I have on the pod that are from Europe or from, I mean, the Finnish guys especially, they just can't really express themselves in the way in terms of their humor or in terms of kind of deeper thoughts. They kind of only go really surface level with their thoughts and ideas.
I mean, that's all what takes practice. I mean, like every other thing. And I guess at the university we talk a lot to each other, so I guess I had to improve somewhat, right?
Yeah. Are you normally a shy kid at school, or are you pretty open to going around saying what's up to people, talking to new people?
I'll think I'm much more of a shy type of a guy. Yeah, I'm usually the one that goes and sits in the back row and doesn't say a word throughout the lecture and just rushes out after class and go play some poker at home.
So what do you think about doing like a podcast like this? Is this something that makes you nervous, or is it something that you sort of, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm definitely a little bit nervous, but I mean, like all the other things in life, I guess you have to go through it. I'm enjoying it, to be honest. But I'm nervous as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely. As time goes on, people become more open and they start talking more. So I feel like it's very normal. I don't think you've ever done. Have you ever done an interview on a video before where people are going to be watching and commenting and critiquing and saying things and all that kind of stuff?
No, never, never before. No.
Yeah, this is a big first debut. You know what I mean? I'd be fucking freaking out. I remember my first interview I did. It was with a podcast I listened to all the time. It was called 2+2 PokerCast Plus, and it was like I was playing 10 cent, 25 cent on Poker Stars at the time. I was living in Chicago. I had a few $1,000s to my name, but I'll listen to this podcast every single week. And it was my favorite. I fucking loved it. I couldn't really explain how much I loved the podcast. And I did a big prop bet where I played 600,000 hands a month. And I did a prop bet on 2+2. I set a record for most hands in a month at full ring. And then they called me and they said, or they messaged me on 2+2. They said, "Do you want to come on the podcast?" And I was freaking out. I'm like, yeah, I want to come on the pod. Like, of course I want to come on the podcast. So I'm sitting around for an hour waiting for them to call me. And when they called me, I like listened back to it and I was so fucking nervous. Like I was like, man, there are gonna be so many people that listen to this podcast. This is like a dream of mine to get on. It's kind of crazy looking back, but that was one of the coolest things I could ever did because it kind of propelled me to want to have more success so that I might be in the position to do something like that more in the future.
Yeah, it definitely sounds familiar. like I sat here for more than an hour before, just waiting like for you to call, I guess. And yeah, I was nervous the whole time.
Well, that's how I was. And then what I found was that the interviewer, shout out to Adam and Mike, these guys are professionals, man. They really inspired me to even want to start doing a podcast because I went on there and they prepared things easy. They asked good questions. It almost seemed like they asked me questions I thought would be the perfect questions in some way. So I feel like they made the experience really easy for me. And then I've been on there a few times since then. So and it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, but yeah, I just remember that that's one of my first memories of ever doing anything poker content related at all.
I mean, now you're making the same thing. So I guess I must thank you for that. Yeah, you're making it easy for me. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I started off, I was the biggest poker fan of all time when I started playing. I was 21 when I started playing and just watched ESPN and World Series of Poker, listened to all the podcasts. I watched all the training videos I could make. And I was always just a really big fan of the top players and the top content and stuff like that. And then once I started doing well at poker, I was like, well, maybe I want to create something about PLO because there was no PLO content and there was no really good players making content as well too at the time. That was a big reason why I wanted to start off. And I mean, it's kind of crazy. That was like 4.5 years ago at this point in time too. So it's
I mean, it sounds like a lot. Like I mean, long time ago, but it really isn't, right?
Right.
I mean, I could still, for example, vividly picture myself playing those free rolls 3 years ago. So, right. I mean, it really isn't that long time ago.
Right. I mean, I was looking at the Instagram on your page and there are photos of you multi-tabling, small stakes tournaments a couple years ago, 2015, and then it's just, you think about the progression to go in those few years times. It's cool. I mean, this is why I love poker. What else can you do where you can progress in that sort of way and then have your life changed forever? I mean, it's kind of what happens now. Your entire perspective on life can change from poker. It's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, and they said the poker is dying, right? The dream is alive.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think certain cash games might be dying, but in terms of can you make it as a poker player at tournaments or at live poker, I definitely think you can.
Yeah, definitely. I still believe that. So yeah.
Is your favorite poker site Party Poker, or is it something else?
Yeah, Party Poker has the best tournaments, right? And as a tournament player, I tend to play here.
Say that one more time.
Party Poker has the best tournaments, right? And so I play on that side for obvious reasons. Poker Stars is banned in our country. 888 is banned in our country. So yeah, so we don't really have much choice if I'm up to that.
Well,
we have Winamax.
I know Party Poker's listening, and they're going to be very happy that you said that. So that's shout out to Party Poker. I'm sure they're out there watching right now on the prowl. But Blaz, you want to give the people any last parting words, my friend?
I would just like to say thank you for all that supported me. That were on the rail for me during the tournament, and yeah, thanks for watching.
All right, guys, we're gonna leave it at that, man. We'll take it about an hour here, guys. In the chat, I appreciate everybody tuning in, all the questions, all the comments, all my regulars out there in the chat. I got a lot of love for you guys. I'm gonna be back tomorrow, new video, and then Wednesday podcast Matt Berkey, Thursday Phil Galfond, Friday Dan Smith. We're talking super high rollerball coverage this week, guys. Super high rollerball starts tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on Poker Go. You can use my promo code Joey if you want. If you don't want to, that's okay. Use Blaz's promo code Blaz. Even though it's not true, it doesn't exist. But yeah, Blaz, can people follow you? Do you have a Twitter? You don't use Twitter, Instagram very much, right?
I didn't use it for like 2 years up until I saw you mention my Twitter account on the podcast. So I just like went back, forgot my password from back then, and reset it now. Might become more active now.
If people want to follow a journey with you, is there some place they can follow? Is it Lollipop Boy? Is that the place they should go?
Yeah, they should definitely go to Lollipop Land.
Do you like lollipops? What's up with why is it Lollipop Boy?
It was my old video games name. I used it for video games when I was younger. So and obviously for Twitter. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. We're wrapping it up. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, go tell me to fuck myself in the comments. And that's it, man. Blaz, appreciate you coming on, brother. It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, nice talking to you. Thanks for having me.
No problem, buddy. No problem, man. See you guys later. Peace out.